Welcome back. I hope you are doing great. As a part of this video, we'll understand what is Boise-Card normal form in normalization. So far, in our previous videos, we have understood if any relation need to be in first normal form, it should have only atomic values. If relation has to be in second normal form, there should not be any partial dependencies. If the relation has to be in third normal form, there should not be any transitive dependencies. So if we have to say a relation need to be in a Boise-Card normal form, what should be the condition? The condition is first and foremost thing is it should be in a third normal form. The second important thing is for any dependency between x and y, where x determines the y, x should be the super key. In a simple term, x cannot be a non-prime attribute. It cannot be a non-prime attribute, y being a prime attribute. Let us take an example and understand this. Here in this relation, we have student ID, subject, and professor. So if you see student ID and subject together form a primary key, and professor is a non-prime key. If you observe, this particular relation is in first normal form because all the values are atomic values. It is in the second normal form because there are no partial dependencies, and it is also in the third normal form because there are no transitive dependencies. If you observe critically from professor, we can identify a subject. You can say Professor Anand is teaching DBMS. Professor Mishra is teaching a Java. And this subject is a part of the primary key. From professor, we can determine the subject. Subject is a part of the primary key. And as we already know, professor is a non-prime attribute, right? Hence, we have a dependency here. Subject is in a way dependent on professor, but professor is not a super key. That is the reason this particular relation is not in BCNF. So what do we do to get this relation into a BCNF, that is Boise-Card normal form? All we have to do is decompose the tables. Decompose the tables into two tables. One is student and the second one is professor table. If you see here, in this table, we have a primary key as a student ID. In this table, we have a primary key as a professor ID. So if you see, professor ID is determined by student ID and professor is determined by professor ID, and he or she teaches a particular subject. So we can call now both the tables are in BCNF. Awesome. We understood what is Boise-Card normal form. Thank you.